guys ready to go?
Yep.
All right, this is just a quick demo. Basically what I'm talking about here is what our timeline is. When I talk about human reaction time, how fast everything occurs, whether it's use of force or when we really judge people on what their decision making is. We already talked about a second and a half is our reaction time, right? So after that, after I get that second and a half time, now I'm behind the curve and now I have to start reacting. And then if you look at it from a bad guy's point of view, when they're shooting at the police officers, how many rounds they're actually going to have on us before we can even react versus us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this shot clock. It's a clock that will basically time my shots, and then it'll tell you I'm going to try to shoot 10 rounds in 3 seconds. That's my goal. Okay, so let's try it out here. Eyes and ears. So make sure everybody has hearing on. All right, here we go. Oh, you have it on instant.
Oh, you want me to delay it?
No, that's fine. Just go ahead and start it.
Shoot ready. Stand by. Rounds, 3.25 seconds.
So just over 3 seconds, that's 10 rounds from the holster, center mass on a target. So you're talking about the time that officers have to deal with and the amount of rounds that can come in at them if they make the wrong decision. You can see where those officers are at a heightened level of awareness as far as the use of force. Does that make sense to everybody? So everyone thinks, oh, why'd the officer shoot 10 times? I just shot 10 rounds in 3 seconds from the holster. If I wasn't in the holster, that'd be done within 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds in the fight of somebody's life is not a long time. So when everyone says, why'd you shoot 10 times? It's because that's how long the threat took to neutralize within that 10 seconds, or within that 2 seconds.
So are you trained to then shoot, I mean, just continue shooting in that time?
No, we're trained to assess the threat. So I know if the threat comes up, I'm gonna shoot until he's no longer a threat. But if we start shooting fastly, it's hard to make that judgment call, right? Because if I shoot and I miss, by the time I figure out I miss and reassess that target, what's going to be happening? I'm going to have 4, 5, 6 rounds back at me. So it's a fine line between one round, see what happens. So we shoot until the threat is no longer a threat. If he gives up, I stop shooting. If he goes down, I stop shooting. If he has a gun in his hand and he's still a threat, I'm not going to stop shooting. Right? Because if I do, I know I'm giving him over a half a second time to react to assault me back. If that makes sense.
I just want to make a point here. When we shoot, some people have the interpretation or the concept that we shoot to wound, or we shoot or we use force to stop a threat, whether that's deadly use of force or whether that's more of a hands-on use of force. So we don't shoot for a shoulder, we don't shoot for a head per se, it's center mass. That's our best target to stop a threat. Once the threat is eliminated, we're done, and then we go on to the next step. So I just want to make that point.
Yeah.
So,
shooting it's not like the movies where I can shoot the gun out of your hand while you're running across the parking lot, right? We shoot the largest portion of the target or the threat, which is center mass, right? And we're not shooting to kill. If he dies as a result of me shooting him to stop the threat, I can't stop that. But that's not our intent. Our intent is to stop it. We're not shooting at the legs. I mean, really, it's really hard. Most people, I mean, we qualify twice a year. You know, our training isn't at a professional level as far as, you know, how much we'd like to have. So we can't expect our cops under stress, under the timelines that we need to do that, to be able to shoot a gun out of their hand or shoot them in the leg or the arm or anything like that. Obviously our taser, we have some less lethal ammunition we can use between that gap. But when that gun comes up and we determine that we need to use deadly force, our time window of being able to use that force is so minimal that, you know, to be able to pick a target out is tough.